Hello everyone, I'm Ho Seong, and I will tell you about influential person related with my major. I picked someone you might not have heard of her. Her name is Lim Soo-kyung. Here is the outline of my presentation. First, background. I will tell you why I choose her, and then I will tell you about who is Lim Soo-kyung, her role in the World Youth Festival, her legacy, and finally a conclusion. First of all, background. There are many people related to North Korea, but why I choose Lim Soo-kyung? Can you guess? One of the biggest reasons I chose North Korean studies is because of Lim Soo-kyung. Back in 2018, after the summit between North Korea and the US, there was a strong sense of peace across the Korea Peninsula. It almost felt like unification could actually happen. During the time, I started becoming more interested in the idea of unification. So I told my parents about my interest. While talking about it with my parents, they recommended me to read a book about Lim Soo-kyung. The book showed that she was someone who went to another country for unification, like a strong and courageous person as a university student. When I was a high school student, her story really changed how I viewed university. She showed me that college isn't just a place to study, but a place where I can chase what I believe in and express my own voice. To people in North Korea, her freedom probably felt unfamiliar. Honestly, it did to me too. But that kind of freedom was something I admired. That's why led me to choose this major. Partly because I want to contribute to peace on the Korea Peninsula, and partly because I want to express my own freedom. Let me tell you about someone I admire. This table shows detailed information about her, but I only focus on the most important parts. She studied French at Hankuk University of Foreign Studies. The most notable moment in her early life was her participation in the 1989 World Festival of Youth and Students, which was held in Pyongyang, North Korea. At the time, South Koreans were not allowed to visit North Korea. Mm, Now, nowadays the same. So her trip was very controversial. Because of her movement, she was given a 5-year prison sentence. But she only spent about 3 years in prison before she was released only in 1992. After that, she worked in politics and served in South Korea's National Assembly between 2012 and 2016. Lim Soo-kyung's visit, sorry. And what exactly did she do at the World Youth Festival? The World Youth Festival is a global event where young people come together in solidarity for peace. Since the most soldiers in World War II and the Vietnam War were young people, The festival was created to give youth a platform to speak out against the war and advocate for peace. In 1989, Lim Soo-kyung participated in the festival held in Pyongyang, representing South Korean sorry, representing South Korean university students. Originally, both Koreas had agreed that South Korean students would officially take part in the event, but the talks eventually broke down, and the South Korean delegation was unable to attend. In this situation, she made the bold decision to travel alone to Pyongyang via East Berlin and Moscow. Her arrival drew an overwhelming response. All of Pyongyang citizens filled the streets to see her, to to the point where traffic could not move. During her stay, she freely interacted with North Koreans and taught them South Korean songs and pledged her hopes for reunifications. As the only South Korean participant, she met with North Korean leader Kim Il sung, who gave her the symbolic nickname, the Flower of Reunification. Lim Soo-kyung's visit to North Korea brought a renewed sense of hope for peace on the Korean peninsula. At a time when the two Koreas were locked in hostility shaped by opposing ideologies, her brave act as a university student, not, a, not as a representative of any state, reminded us that we are one Koreans. The way North Koreans look at her was described as if they were greeting with an old, long lost friend. She herself later said that rather than feeling any sense of difference, she felt as though they had always been one, sharing sharing a deep and unspoken bond. Today, the North Korean regime continues its appro- appro- sorry, oppressive rule under a third generation dictatorship. But that is a problem of the government governments, not of the North Korean people themselves. They are simply living within a system that restricts their freedom, but they are, like us, people who share the same roots, the same land, and the same language. Lim Soo-kyung's journey reminded us of an important truth. We are one. Not Damien, sorry, not you. Conclusion. Lim Soo-kyung may not be a highly influential figure in the field of North Korean studies. However, the possibility of unification she showed me when I was a high school student had a greater impact on me than anyone else. She influenced my choice of university and also shaped the way I view both South and North Korea. Therefore, I choose Lim Soo-kyung as the most influential person for me. Thank you.